I grew up in a small town in Ohio, where families knew each other's secrets before you even had the chance to hide them. My name is Emily Carter, and for most of my life, I thought I understood what family meant. To me, family was trust, tradition, and the people who were supposed to love you without conditions. But as I look back now, I realize that family can also be complicated, fragile, and capable of breaking apart in ways you never expect. For as long as I could remember, my Uncle David was a constant presence in my life. He wasn't just my dad's younger brother. He was almost like a second father to me. My parents had me when they were young, and while they worked long hours to build their small hardware business, Uncle David was often the one who picked me up from school, helped me with homework, or taught me how to ride a bike. I adored him, trusted him, and believed he was one of the good ones, the kind of man you could always count on. David was charming in a way that drew people in without him even trying. He had that easygoing laugh, the kind that made everyone in the room feel lighter. He'd never married, and though people sometimes whispered about why he was still single at 40, no one questioned the loyalty he showed to our family. He spent holidays with us, showed up to every birthday, and became a permanent fixture in our home. My mother, Sarah, would often say, "We're lucky to have him." Not everyone has family who steps up like David. But as I got older, I began to notice small shifts. I wasn't a child anymore. I was 24, living back at home after college, trying to figure out what to do with my life. I worked part-time at the local library, saving money and planning for graduate school. Being home again was strange. I felt caught between who I used to be as the family's little girl and the woman I was becoming. And in the middle of that transition, I started noticing the tension in the house, tension that seemed to spark whenever Uncle David and my mother were in the same room. It was in the subtle glances that lingered too long, in the way his hand brushed hers when they passed dishes at the dinner table, in the quiet conversations that stopped abruptly when I walked into the kitchen late at night. At first, I told myself I was imagining it. This was my mother. This was my uncle. The idea of anything inappropriate was unthinkable. Yet, the more I tried to dismiss it, the more those small signs pressed against my conscience. One night in late October, a storm rattled the town. My dad, Mark, was away on a supply run for the hardware store, leaving just my mom, Uncle David, and me in the house. I remember sitting by the window with a book, listening to the rain hammer the glass, when I heard laughter drifting from the kitchen. I thought nothing of it until I heard my mother's voice, softer, warmer than usual. I set my book aside, curiosity pushing me to quietly step into the hallway. There they were, my mom and Uncle David, standing far too close near the counter. He said something that made her laugh in a way I hadn't heard in years, like a girl instead of a tired wife. And then I saw it. His hand, resting on hers, not by accident, but deliberately, as if it had been there many times before. I froze, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might give me away. In that moment, everything inside me shattered. The man I had trusted all my life, the uncle who was supposed to protect me, was betraying my father in the worst possible way. And my mother, my role model, my safe place, was standing right there with him, not pulling away. I wanted to burst into the room and scream. I wanted to demand answers, to tell them both how wrong it was. But instead, I backed away quietly, retreating to my room like a frightened child. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying the scene again and again, hoping somehow I had misunderstood. But deep down, I knew what I had seen was real. That night changed everything. The days that followed were unbearable. Every meal felt like a performance, every conversation a lie. My mother tried to carry on as if nothing had happened, but I couldn't look at her without seeing that hand on hers. Uncle David came by often, his presence now suffocating, his laughter ringing false in my ears. And my father, sweet, hard-working, oblivious, continued to welcome his brother with open arms, completely unaware of the betrayal happening under his roof. I wrestled with what to do. Should I tell my dad? Should I confront them? I wanted to protect him, but I also feared what the truth would do to our family. This wasn't just a secret, it was a ticking time bomb that could destroy everything we had ever built. And yet, the secret grew heavier by the day. Until one night, I could no longer keep silent.